There is a popular brand of paint in the market that a lot of us, probably I mentioned the name now, but I don't want to give them um, that publicity on the show. If I mention their names, a lot of you may know it, or those who work within the construction industry may know them, right? Only for me to go to the market one day and I saw another another brand of paint that had similar name, but this time around they cleverly added in a very small form. They added another letter to, I think, in between the name, they added a letter to it to distinguish it. That is what is called impersonation. That is what is called impersonation. And there are some people, or most people do it, right? There are some people who would, when they reach out to me for branding, especially for their logo design, or they would go get somebody else's design and said, please pattern my design after this design. That is not originality. That is being that is not being original. In other words, that is also in a way impersonation, and it is one of the common mistakes most people do when they brand. What you may not know is this: whoever you have chosen to pattern whatever you do after. When I mean pattern, I mean verbatim. You have chosen to copy their style and project their style, other than infusing yours, other than adding your flavor to that style. What you are simply doing is you are simply an extension of that brand. You may choose to disagree, but that is exactly what it is, right? It is one of the common mistakes that people make that you should not make. And it's on this note that I welcome you to Business Sense with Coach Simon. I'm your branding coach and consultant, and my mission for doing this show is very simple. It is to help empower you with all the things that you need in order for you to build a globally profitable and a relevant brand. And I want you to know that you can also watch the show aside on Facebook. You can also watch previous editions of the show on my YouTube channel, talking about Simon Matthew TV. All right. So we started this series. All right. This is the second installment of that series. We're looking at 12 common mistakes that people make when they do their branding. And of course, while starting on this episode, I mentioned one of it, which happens to be the fourth thing, which is impersonation, not being original. Not being original. I want you to also notice that people will prefer the rickety you than the fake you. People prefer the rickety you, for lack of a better word to use. People prefer the raw you than the fake you. I mean, what this means is that by the time you start talking, somebody can easily tell that, okay, this is who this person is. And this reminds me of the story that Mr. Fela Durotoye shared some time ago. He talked about, I think, his very first program that his very first event that he puts together. That he is an ardent follower. I think Bishop T. Jakes is his mentor, so he decided to pattern what he does after him. And on that day, he did his rehearsal, as a public speaker. He did his rehearsal and all of those things. But the mistake he made was his rehearsal was based on how Bishop T.D. Jakes speaks and all of those things, and the way he carries himself and all of that. And guess what? By the time he got on stage and started speaking, people couldn't connect. People couldn't connect, and he felt it that people were not connecting with what he was doing. Then he was humble enough to look inwards and tell himself some bitter truth. He said that the moment people started accepting and connecting with him was when he started being himself. Originality is very, very important. People are tired of fake. People don't want to deal with you as though they are dealing with robots. And that is a very big mistake most people make. By the time you are having a semblance, by the time your brand is having a semblance of another brand that people know, especially the popular ones, excuse me, especially the popular ones, what you're simply doing is that you are simply directing traffic to that other brand. You understand? Because already they are known, right? Already they are known. And God forbid that some people who decide to patronize you did so on the basis of the fact that they were misled. If they found out that, oh, I thought I was, if there was at any time, or if there's at any time they have these thoughts that I thought I was patronizing those other people, they will hate you for it. And so you don't want to go that route, right? So the next mistake most people make, which is the fifth one, is not reflecting what you do in your branding. Not reflecting what you do in your branding. See, so you know, what you do, so long as it provides solution, is very, very important. It may not be, now, the mistake most people make is that they think that I need to present something glamorous. But what you don't know is that thing that you think, that service that you think is not glamorous, is a big deal, since it is solving people's problems. Like, for example, this is not meant to cast aspersion or look down at any profession. For example, the painting profession, for example. Some people tend to look down on it. But the truth of the matter is that it is a solution. It is a solution because so long as somebody somewhere will need the service, it shows that it is something, you're doing something right. You understand? Plumbing. God forbid that you have a plumbing issue, you would understand how important plumbers are in your life. All right. So what about even shoe repairing? I'm not talking about shoemaking now. I'm talking about shoe repairing. You will not know how important those people are in your life until when you are going somewhere, and unfortunately for you, your sandals a part of it decide to pull off. And automatically, of course, it will so disorganize you that if you're not careful, you may end up not continuing the journey. If that journey is very, very important, if what you're going for is very important. So I want you to understand that all of these things are very important. So the mistakes most people make is that they adopt names, and sometimes I wonder, are these people serious? They adopt names that one cannot tell what exactly it is that you do. You understand? I understand that some people are trying to play cool by some school of thought to tell you that you must not necessarily be. I kept using the word generic. I don't know if that's the right word to use. Some people keep telling you that you must not necessarily that your name must reflect what you do, blah blah blah. But like I said in the last episode, I will say that again. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for people. It is. And people's attention span is drastically reducing by the day because people are getting too busy. People are getting busier. A lot of things are calling for people's attention. So the last thing you want to do is to stress people. Is to stress people. You understand? Where you will know that you are beginning to fail in your branding is, especially with your name, is when people will now have to ask, after you have told them the name of your business and they are still asking you, what do you do? Know that something somewhere is not adding up. Something somewhere about your branding is not right. You understand? It may sound like old school, But the truth of the matter is that you sound like old school, but the truth of the matter is that it is the right thing to do. It is a good way to go, right? Like, for example, some of the brands I run, for example, I have Limitless Finishing Services, all right? Limitless Finishing Services. The word finishing, and I do those things deliberately. The word finishing connotes anything that has to do with wall finishing, painting, services, all right, wallpaper installations, and the rest of them. All right. So another brand I also run is the brand that takes care of graphic design and all of those things, and it's called Limitless One Media. All right. Anything media, of course, it connotes, it includes graphic designing, video production, and the rest of that. You understand? So you need to adopt names that people will not have to now start cracking their brains to be able to do that. Now, let me say this, since I mentioned it, let me say this by way of helping you. Now, you can actually register a name and also have a brand name. You can register a name, you understand, you can have a name registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission for those of you in Nigeria. All right, for those of you outside of Nigeria, you will know your various registration signers that you can actually get your businesses registered, right? You can register that. You can also have some other names patented. You understand? Brand names patented. Are you getting my point? For example, you have brand names patented. For example, you have Coca-Cola, right? Patented. You have Fanta, all right? Patented. All of those things. So you can have it that way. So that what you now then do is that you fly by that name, but you know it has a parent company. Like for example, Facebook. You understand? Facebook, for example, is one of the subsidiaries, one of the brands of Meta. All right, Meta as a company or as an organization. They understand. So you can run it that way. So what that does for you is that it gives you that flexibility to fly with a name that people can easily resonate with. Is very, very important. All right. So whatever kind of branding, as you brand, the mistake you would make is not to reflect what you do in your brand. If by the name, listen to this very carefully. If either by the name or by the vision and mission statement, people can still not tell what you do, then there is a problem. I will say that again. If by the name or vision or mission statement, people can still not tell what you do, there is already a problem. There's already a problem. Because the truth is, you may not be there all the time to explain to people. If they will have to wait to read the part where your services, then there's already an issue. You understand? So if by your tagline, meaning what you call motto, MOTTO, if by your tagline or your motto, people can still, or your slogan, people can still not tell what exactly it is that your business is about, you're already missing out. All right? You're already missing out. And it's not a very good thing. So the third thing I want to talk about as I begin to round off today's episode has to do with building on falsehood. See, branding is not faking it till you make it. It is not portraying who you are not to people. That is not what I would prefer to teach. I'll prefer to teach ethics. I prefer to teach truth. See, people are tired of lies. Are you getting my point? People are tired of lies. I agreed to be called a coach because by virtue of people's experiences of me, they gave me the name coach. Are you getting my point? Now, by virtue of people's experience of the branding expressions of me, so one person gave me the prince of branding, another person said, no, why don't we call him the king of branding? That was how the name king of branding came to being. You understand? You may also see Ambassador Simon. I'm actually a certified ambassador. You understand? SDGs ambassador. So the truth of the matter is this. You don't just assume titles that you have either not worked for or you have not been accredited for. You understand? So branding is not about faking it till you make it. It's not about claiming what you are not. And let me say this. Let me say this to tie this to the statement I made earlier. People prefer the rickety you than the fake you. It is not about faking it till you make it. It's not about showing that you have arrived when you are still way behind, when you have not even started the journey. And the mistake most people make with branding, they think because it is about perception, they think that they can build that perception of lies. Because in their thinking, if we succeed at selling a certain story to people and they succeed in buying that story, we can leverage on that story to grab or get whatever it is we can get from them. If you choose to take that route, you may succeed, but that success will not last. What I am teaching you are things that would help you build something solid, something that has foundation, a very good foundation at that. Not the type that is not built on character. Are you getting my point? Not the type that is not built on character. Are you getting my point? Not the type that is trying to show what they don't have. Like some people now will go by interesting titles. Like we're just yesterday about somebody who says he's an ICT guru, that is ICT guru, and yet when you go close to him, he does not look, sound, or represent that title there he is claiming to be. You understand? It is not about claiming who you are not. Do you understand? It is not about forcing yourself or doing everything possible to make sure that you show people what you're not. It's not about lies. It's not about lies. Please, it is not about lies. I'm taking my time to lay this emphasis that it is not about lies. It's not about selling lies. Whatever it is that is built on lies will not last. So build on truth. If you have only one outlet for now, let people know that it's one outlet. If what you can afford for now is a shed, for those of you in Nigeria, you can relate what a shed is. If all you have right now for your business where you sell is a shed, show it to people. People will prefer to see the journey of the progress you are making. People prefer. That is where originality comes in. People want to see that. People want to see your journey. People want to say that, okay, this person started from here and this is where they are now. Than for you to go rent a space like what some people do. Maybe for your shoots, for example, like if it were some people, for your shoots, for example, some will go and begin to rent a sophisticated studio to do something they can't sustain. Something they can't sustain. Are you getting my point? So you don't want to go through that stress. Because people will one day figure you out. And by the time they one day figure you out, you will be sorry for yourself. If you want to understand what I'm talking about, read the book. I recommend that you read the book, The Power of Character in Leadership by Dr. Miles Moron. I would recommend strongly you read that book. If you read that book, you'll understand, you have a full understanding of what I'm talking about. So a lot of people build on falsehood, and that is a very big mistake that they make when they are branding. It is about perception, creating the right perception that is based on truth. And the truth of the matter is that truth is only one. You have lies is many. Lies are many, but truth is only one. Even if they go to the ends of the earth and they come back, it is still that same thing that they will eventually find out. And people want to deal. Let me tell you this. People want to deal with people who are truthful. It will be easier for people to trust you that way. It will be easier for people to do business with you that way than for you to now want to build on lies. Want to build on lies, want to claim what you're not, want to claim that you are an expert in XYZ, whereas you know less than nothing about it. I want you to think about this, all right? Think about, don't forget originality. Lack of originality is one mistake you shouldn't make. Lack of originality. Impersonation is also another thing you shouldn't make. You understand? Building on lies is also another thing you shouldn't make. I hope that this that I've shared with you today has added value to you and you begin to do the right thing. All right. So in the next episode, we'll be looking at other mistakes. And please take this thing seriously. The essence of sharing this, the essence of expending this resource to share this with you is to help you. You understand? Please take this very seriously. And when you need help, don't be shy to ask for help. Reach out to me and let's get to talk about your branding. Nothing like come your way again. My name is Simon Match, your business branding coach and consultant. Keep doing business, keep making profit, and most importantly, keep living the limitless life. Until I come your way again, bye for now. God bless you.